Good morning, I'm Claire Murphy. Welcome to the Solo Bureau. Are you ready to get the weekend started? Well, let's do it. Let's whip around the country and see what's been going down in your neighbourhood this week. But, of course, we do have to see what's been happening while you were sleeping. It's Friday, July 3rd. More than a week on from devastating back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela, a security guard has been pulled alive from the rubble. The 44-year-old was working in the mall when the quakes hit, burying him under tons of concrete. Rescuers discovered him on Monday, sending a tube down so he could drink water and digging 2 separate tunnels to get to him due to the instability of the ruins. After 70 hours, he was finally freed. The Venezuelan crews, helped by teams from Chile, the US, Portugal, Mexico, Costa Rica and El Salvador. Russian drones and missiles have rained down on the Ukrainian capital in an 11-hour attack, killing at least 20 civilians and injuring many more. Moscow says the strikes are retaliation for the recent Ukrainian hits on Russian oil facilities, which have caused fuel shortages and placed mounting pressure on President Vladimir Putin. Ukrainian officials say they are trying to force Moscow to the negotiating table, but so far any diplomatic solution has not been successful, with Russia instead choosing to hit back. Despite a ransom note reportedly saying that the missing mother of US TV show host Savannah Guthrie had died, the FBI is continuing to treat the case as a kidnapping for ransom. Authorities wouldn't comment on how many ransom notes they've received since the 84-year-old disappeared from her home in February this year, but say they have discounted some as pure extortion attempts, while others they believe may be legitimate. A Tucson TV station said they received a note demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin in exchange for Nancy Guthrie's return. Authorities believe she was taken against her will, with her blood found near the front doorstep of her home, but despite extensive searches and an in-depth investigation, she still hasn't been found. Realestate.com.au and Domain have faced off in court over accusations of breaching consumer laws, with claims made about how many sales they're responsible for. Domain claims that the statement made by REA that they found buyers for 9 in every 10 properties listed on its platform was not supported by any underlying data. A spokesperson for REA says the company stands by the claim and that they were based on analysis of 1 million sales and independently verified. If Domain is successful, they're asking for REA to stop using the data in advertising after they put it out in a press release, in a statement to shareholders, and put it on a billboard that Domain claims REA put up outside the Gold Coast airport to catch the attention of thousands of real estate agents who are flying in for a national conference. REA has also claimed Domain have made misleading statements, specifically that listings using their 3D modelling receive 5.5 times more listing views and 4.2 times more buyer inquiries. The federal government will allow human intervention to overrule a controversial automation tool that determines care packages for aged care assessments. The integrated assessment tool was rolled out in November, with complaints it's been choosing packages not suitable for those undergoing the assessment. Aged Care Minister Sam Ray conceded yesterday that changes would be made to allow reviews of decisions in extenuating circumstances. He denied that AI is being used, saying it's dishonest for any actor to pretend otherwise. Far North Queensland cattle farmer Rory Robertson has signed an historic deal with the local Wick and Way peoples in Cape York to ensure a 50-50 split of the clean energy scheme. The 25-year agreement will see traditional burning practices undertaken on the 250,000-hectare station, which Mr Robertson said is one of the most diverse non-coastal properties in Queensland, with its wetlands, wilderness and wildlife. The carbon credit scheme incentivises effective fire management based on traditional knowledge and burning practices. Projects earn carbon credits for every tonne of carbon dioxide stored or reduced, which can then be sold back to the government or businesses who need to offset their emissions. That money will be shared evenly. Well, those are your top stories for Friday. Have a good one if you're leaving us here. Up next, though, it's time to whip around Australia, see what's been going down in your state or territory. WA first, and a paediatrician accused of sexually abusing 10 children faced Perth Magistrates Court this week, facing an extra 20 charges. Chia Liang Shaw is accused of using sugar daddy websites to contact underage girls. The court was told his internet search history included Dr. Saw pedophile and that he allegedly sexually abused and recorded child patients he was treating for ADHD. He's also alleged to have sent a victim inappropriate emails and also waited outside the child's school and home. Saw's medical licence has been suspended and he was originally facing 16 charges, including persistent sexual conduct with a child under 16 and possessing child exploitation material. 31 more charges were added in mid-June, including producing child exploitation material, with 20 more charges added on Tuesday relating to communication with one person over a 20-day period. Saw denies the allegations and says the recordings were to protect himself from allegations. Still over in the west, though, the iconic Gloucester tree has reopened to visitors 3 years after its closure. The tree, located in Pemberton, south of Perth, was shut to tourists in 2023 due to a combination of structural and safety issues. The tree climb has reopened, but it's at a lower height of 37 metres rather than the previous 61. To Tasmania, and locals are worried that 3 new data centres, one already under construction, will be loud and will require a huge water supply. Data centres consume large amounts of water for cooling and humidity control, as thousands of tightly packed servers generate extreme levels of heat. Think of how hot your phone or your laptop gets when you're asking it to do some tough work. Now imagine thousands and thousands of them all packed in together. They don't use air conditioning, as that would require a heck of a lot of power, so using evaporation water cooling is more energy efficient. But the steam that's vented out of the building can't be recycled, so they'll need a constant supply of fresh water. The CEO of Firmus, the company building the AI data centres at St Leonard's in Launceston, with plans for 2 more in Bell Bay and Wesleyvale, spoke to ABC Hobart this week, telling people what to expect.
It's between 20 and 30 decibels as far as the noise that's measured, running at full rate. That's actually less than library noise. So if you walk into a library, you'd measure greater than 30 decibels. Water is a very strong, big topic. We've made this very clear, and it is in all of our DAs. In Launceston, it's about 3.3 million litres. In Georgetown, it's about 8.7 million litres. In Wesleyvale, predicting about 700,000 litres. Now, to put that in perspective, it sounds like a lot of water because people don't really know how much water they might actually use every day. So a restaurant uses 3.4 million litres of water a year.
Australia already has nearly 300 data centres which do draw from the public drinking water supply, but some are investing in more efficient systems like recycled water systems or a closed-loop system which recirculates water through sealed pipes and doesn't discharge it into the atmosphere. Firmus, though, is holding drop-in sessions and webinars for any concerned locals to ask questions. Can we also end on Tassie with the 2 quick ones? 1, infants are now eligible for a free meningococcal B vaccine in Tassie, which will be available for the next 4 years for all babies from 6 weeks to 2 years of age. And we have to mention Neil the seal, who is still wreaking havoc down south. I was watching a video where they had attempted to block Neil from coming up from the beach to lay in his favourite spots or take on traffic cones or just lay in the middle of the road. But despite putting up barriers and parking big utes in the pathways, Neil managed to escape by simply crushing a fence with his massive weight. Yes, that crack is the sound of a massive pine beam just giving up. Look, Neil the seal is destructive as hell, but you've got to love this guy's 1,000 kilos of persistence to keep interacting with the locals. To South Australia, and it has been a soggy old week in Adelaide. The data from the Weather Bureau was that SA copped more than 70% of their entire July rainfall on July 1. Some farmers are stoked, others not so much, depending on your crop. My mum has been lamenting her overflowing gutters, flooding the outdoor area. But emergency crews had to attend hundreds of call-outs for flooding and fallen trees. And while we're here, a quick good luck to the Adelaide Thunderbirds, who are in the Super Netball Grand Final against the Melbourne Vixens tomorrow in Victoria. And look, I know that I am supposed to be unbiased as the host of this show, but go T-Birds. While we're mentioning cross-border rivals, let's head to Victoria. Jess Doyle sent me a reel this week of Joshua Ruff talking about the fact that his NDIS funding had been changed, removing his ability to self-manage his funding and train his family members as support workers.
I wanted to be self-managed like I've always been for the last 7-10 years. They're saying that, we're doing this for your safety when It's not. It's just to see what they see is fit is not fit for me. I've created a life that I've always wanted now. They want to take it away from me. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to get politicians. I'm going to go to the media. I'll let everyone know it's just wrong. I just have a physical disability, and that's all. It's challenging that living with muscular dystrophy. Just so hard.
Well, after getting his story out to the media about his situation, the NDIA did reach out to Mr. Ruff and agreed to allow him to continue to self-manage for the next 6 months while they review his situation. They claimed they weren't concerned about his family members being paid to provide support, but they were worried that the kinds of support he needs should be done by qualified workers. To Queensland, and a man has faced court this week charged with people smuggling after a group of people came ashore at Pennyfather River north of Weipa on Tuesday. The 34-year-old was arrested later that day in Weipa. He told the court he didn't know anything about smuggling any humans. He was denied bail, the prosecution saying they were concerned about him not appearing at the next hearing and of potentially tampering with witnesses. He'll face court again on Monday charged with people smuggling involving more than 5 people. It's not known exactly how many were in the boat when it arrived, but all of the foreign nationals have now been removed from Australia. That was a sound of Darwin's Mindil Beach on Wednesday night as the top end celebrated Territory Day, one of the only times it is legal for members of the public to set off fireworks. So between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Territory Day, fireworks that can be legally purchased by members of the public can be set off in celebration, and from watching all the videos, it can get pretty wild. But while it is 5 hours of fun, around 6 people had to seek medical care for fireworks-related injuries, and at least one car went up in flames when the occupants set a cracker off a little bit too close. It does also keep firefighters incredibly busy. The Northern Territory government has reminded everyone to hand in any unused fireworks because they become unstable over time and storing them isn't worth the risk. We're in the country's capital to finish off today, and the Greens have elected Jo Clay as the official leader of the party after she acted in the position after the former leader resigned. Shane Rattenbury, the former leader, resigned from politics after spending 17 years in the Legislative Assembly, 14 of those as head of the party. Posting on social media, Ms Clay said she was truly honoured and grateful for the trust the members have placed in her, and that she was excited to continue working with Andrew, Rebecca and Laura to deliver better outcomes for Canberrans and the environment. She signed off. Let's go to work. So let's follow Jo's advice and get to work, shall we? Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. See you on the other side.